Okay, so now that we have been through the control scope process here in the crowd trainings PM City, let's go through the inputs, outputs, tools, and techniques one more time. Let's review the process here. All right, so the control scope, well, we're trying to control the work and the effort that's going on. So you need to know the plans, and hence, as an input, we're going to have our project management plan. And as you know, I like to draw it as a file folder because it contains all the different plans that we are needing to look at. Obviously, the costs, and the schedules, but really, if you think about it, we're controlling the scope. So the scope management plan and the change management plan and requirements management plan, all those different plans that we need to look at, and including the scope baseline, because that's what's possibly going to change. Now, also, there's different documentation that might be also for use and as an input. So I will write docs here to represent the various different documentation that might be of use as we are looking to control the scope. Also, we need to know how are things going? What's the data telling us? What's the work that's being performed or the efforts that are taking place? So however that data comes in, I'll just draw a whole bunch of points, or maybe it's not really in a graph sense because it's really just a bunch of data points, right? It is information about or data about how the work is performing at this state. So work performance data. And then also too, maybe we have some templates. I'll draw a binder here to represent our OPAs, our organizational process assets. Maybe have different templates that are of use that are going to allow us to better go about controlling the scope and doing the efforts that need to take place. All right, so those are inputs. And now let's look at the tools and techniques. And really, this is pretty easy because there's only one. It is data analysis. And really what that means is that we're taking a look at all this information that's coming in and trying to make sense of it. Maybe looking at the variance between things or the trends or how things are going or why they're going that way, and kind of taking a look at that and seeing, what does it mean? What does it entail? Where should we go? How should we do things? What does it mean? We're monitoring, controlling the scope, and so we need to analyze and really understand what's going on so that we can get to the outputs. The outputs being now that data is in more of a, say, charts or graphs or other kinds of information that now is not just work performance data, but it's actually work performance information. Because now we've made sense of it, we've got some wisdom, we've got some real good comprehension of what's going on in the work, and so we can control it and monitor it correctly. And maybe to control it, we need to do a request for change. So those change requests could also be part of this outcome. And now that, remember, we're not making the change here, because that is being performed in the perform integrated change control process. And but based on the information that we're learning and what we're out to control, it is also probably going to update our project management plan. And so there's going to be those updates, as well as the documentation is also going to be updated as well. And so as you see, the control scope process is pretty simple. We have just the inputs of the project management plans, the documents, the data, and our organizational assets. We're going to make sense of it or analyze it as our tool and technique, and we're probably going to get a change request from it, but if not, we're going to get some information because we're monitoring it, and there might be updates to the plans and updates and the documentations. And that's a quick look at the crowd trainings control scope process in the 6th edition of the PMBOK.